Hello, France. Portrait Pioneers of Color. You know, there was a book published in 1930 called The Lost Tribes, a Myth, written by Professor Alan H. Godbey. And in that book, there was a map, a 1930 map of Africa, of all the locations of where there had been documented of African Judaism, African Jews, Berber, Yemen Jews, Falashas in Ethiopia, Berber in North Africa, Moorish, which was Portugal, Spain, and then into North Africa, and then Negro Jews. Where were they? They were in West Africa and Central. So we take a look at this map, 1930. We have Sierra Leone, we have the Ashanti, we have Dahomey, which later became Benin. We have Nigeria. We have Cameroon. We have Gabon. But look what's over here in Central Africa. We have Dar Nuba, or Dar Nubia, right next to Abyssinia, hundreds of miles away over those mountains. But right there in Central Africa, 1930, was this Dar Nuba. What was this area like 350 years prior? Well, we do have the answer to that. We have a map that was made in the year 1588. It was produced by a man named Livio Seneto. He was a cosmographer in Venice, Italy, in the 1500s. He and his brother, Giulio, they had planned a massive comprehensive atlas of the maps and descriptions of the whole world, which he believed would be more accurate than any previously published. Unfortunately, he died, Livio died in 1576, having only completed 12 maps. But guess where those 12 maps were that he completed? Yes, Africa. So these 12 maps were eventually published in 1588 by Livio's brother, Giulio. So that map in 1930 of Darnubia area, let's see what it says on this 1588 map, the year 1588, Africa Tablia. Let's scroll down to where that would be. So here we have, let's point out some of the areas here. This is written in Latin, as you can see, by the way. So here we see the Jalufa, the land of the Jalus, or the Walus. We have Guinea as well. We have the Mandinga of West Africa. We recognize those on our modern maps. We have Nigeria. So we recognize that on our modern day maps. Nigeria. We have Benin, and this is in Latin, Benin's reign, or their kingdom of Benin. But now let's go over to this area that was called Darnuba, right in this area here. And here we have this area, notice this, France, written in Latin. Juderum Terra. So, what does this mean? Let's translate that. For those who are still out there who still do not believe that there could have been African Jews, there could not have been black Jews, it was impossible. They were just told this, or they were converts. They had no connection to the 12 tribes of Israel and Palestine. Friends, let's translate this. Let's go over to Google and let's translate that name. And we know it was spelled Judee Orum in that Latin, and then Terra, Terra. Look what it says. There's the Latin, there's the English. That's what this means, the land of the Jews. Man, it's deep, man. Every time I look at this, man, I get so emotional. So deep. And there it is. In the year 1588, in the 1500s. It's deep, family. It's deep, friends. It's deep. It's right there. And you know what else is so deep about this, brothers and sisters? I wrote a book a few years back called 1619, 20 Africans, talking about the history of 1619. And in that book, I have a map. And this map was of that same area. This is a map of the Congo region here, right there in Central Africa. Here's all over here would be where, as you can see on here, this would be where Nigeria, Benin, Ghana, Sierra Leone, all those areas. But then when you come down into this curve, here you're right in the same area. And look at that, Congo, Angola. And this was where many of the enslaved were taken from their villages, put on the slave ships, and were taken to Virginia in 1619, and to New York, Manhattan, New York, in 1626. This is that same area, friends. The same area that we have right here, which is translated into the land of the Jews. They came right over to Virginia, 1619, and to New York, 1626. So many, no doubt, many of these African Jews were taken captive and put on those slave ships. Man. So, friends, that's what I wanted to share with y'all today. It's very deep. It's very deep. And this is the reason why we need to find out who Messiah is. This is why we need to find out who Messiah is. Because time is getting very close and knowledge is being revealed in these last days. Knowledge is being revealed, and time is running out. We need to investigate Messiah, who he is. Check out my other videos about that, and many of you already know who it is. Yeshua. There's no doubt. If you look at the evidence, look at some of my videos about it, you'll see the evidence, the secular evidence, let alone the Hebrew and biblical sources. Just looking at it from the secular sources, there's no doubt. So anyway, friends, I just wanted to share that with you. And so y'all be safe. And let's look into this more. Let's look into this more. It's right there.